Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to an episode of Great Locks. I'm Gunther the Great. Today we're going to be looking at Lamelo Ball's hair once again. And of course, we've seen Lamelo Ball go through so many different hairstyles. His most iconic, I feel like, to this day is when he had kind of just like the blowout look. It was kind of like a high top or like a flat top mixed with like a mohawk kind of thing. But that was probably his most iconic hairstyle that he's had so far. But we seen him eventually cut his hair afterward, and then he got waves, and then we seen him with the curly hair, and then kind of hints of starting dreadlocks, and then now we see that he is starting some dreadlocks. But obviously he's not like fully committed to dreadlocking his hair, but I can tell you guys the steps that he possibly did take in order to get his hair the way that it is, so that you guys can basically get your hair the same way he did. Now, everything I am telling you is to help you get your hair exactly how his is, but it doesn't say that he got his hair exactly this way. But I'm telling you, if you take these steps and actually apply them, you'll get your hair exactly like his. So first and foremost, I like to start out with his hair type. Now, Melo's hair type is most likely a 3C. I wouldn't say that he's in the 4s. I feel like me and him have about the same hair texture when it comes to hair types. Now, this is a very tight curl pattern, but it's not as coarse as all the 4s, especially like a 4C. You can obviously tell just based on his curl pattern. Now, his curls are emphasized by some of the methods that he chose in order to get his hair the way that it is. And he's actually doing methods that people actually do in order to get dreadlocks. So I'm gonna take you through those steps as well. So let's go ahead and talk about his hair length really quick, because hair length is actually a very important step when getting dreadlocks or getting this certain hairstyle. His hair is most likely 4 to maybe 6 inches, and it doesn't seem that long just based on how curly his hair is and how compact it is. Now, I would say his hair is leaning more towards 4 inches versus 6, obviously. Now, the point you guys are really looking forward to is what method did he use in order to get his hair the way that it is, and can you use this method in order to get dreadlocks? Now, looking at his hair, it looks like he might have started with sponge rubbing, but I don't believe that's the case. Now, don't get me wrong, if you were to do sponge rubbing, you can get your hair just like his. I will say that sponge rubbing or towel rubbing in other cases, it can sometimes lead your hair to get more frizzy versus curly, because people use a curl sponge in order to activate their curls a little bit better. So people usually will apply products. Some people, in the case of getting dreadlocks, will put locking gel in their hair and then use the dreadlock sponge or the curl sponge. It does the same job. If you want to get dreadlocks, it's going to start out as curls, and then that will eventually lock up. That's why they call it a dread sponge, and that's why they call it a curl sponge. There's not really a difference between the two. They just have different names, and then people use them for different reasons. But in this case, I don't believe he started using the dread sponge, but he possibly could have used it. But based on how clean his curls actually are, and them being very cylindrical and not very messy, I would actually say that he started his hair with either comb coils or finger coils. Now, depending on if he gets his hair actually done by somebody else, I'm assuming that he would actually go through with actual comb coils versus finger coils. But if he's doing this on his own, I would say that he's most likely just doing finger coils, and it's very simple to do. All you do is, go through your normal hair washing process, put in your product, and then literally all you're doing is finger coiling your hair. Now, one thing that you'll notice is that his curls don't go all the way down to his roots. And the reason being is because I believe when he does the comb coils or even the finger coils, is that after doing that process, he'll kind of like, for a lack of better words, tease his hair to where it's not all the way down to the root. Because we've seen when Stephen Curry started his dreadlocks, obviously he didn't keep them. He just like had some starter locks. When you do the starter locks, they'll stick to your head. So that's one thing that I think that he is trying to avoid, and you guys can avoid as well. If you were to do comb coils and they're hanging like too tight to your head, all you do is like pick out the roots a little bit so that they stand out, and then eventually that will lock up. But keep in mind, if you are teasing or extending your roots, it's going to probably come out to a more freeform look of dreadlocks. And that's why you look at Lamelo Ball's hair and see that he looks kind of like a freeform style of dreadlocks. And that's why it would lead you into thinking that he started with sponge rub versus comb coil or finger coils, because essentially they're doing the same thing. But I would tell you that finger coils and comb coils will give you a more clean look, especially comb coils. And if you guys don't know how to do this, I'll link a video down below of how to do comb coils and also how to do finger coils. And then I'll also throw in another link down below on how to use the sponge. They're all very easy to do. They all take about the same amount of time, and they're actually all just like easy for anybody, really. Now, many of us have seen on his Instagram and just from him recently that he has this dreadlock hanging down, which looks like a mature dreadlock. And this will come just from literally twisting your hair. We've seen this with Odell Beckham Jr. We've seen this with Super Saiyan Shosho. We've seen this with so many people to where they only have like literally this little section of hair that's locked up. And I believe that is from people actually just sitting there, and they just twist their hair. and they just keep on twisting, which leads me to believe he actually just did his hair with finger coils, and then eventually with that one, he just kept, you know, messing with that one. And I'm telling you, if you keep messing with that hair and keep twisting it and twisting it, it's going to build friction and tension, and it's going to start to lock up and mature. So I truly believe that's what's been going on with this hair. On the other side, if you want to get your hair just like that, then you could just go in with a crochet needle, which is very easy to do after you have the finger coil made. If you go in with a crochet hook, it's going to solve your issue and make that very mature. And he can do this literally with every single curl on his head to make it into dreadlocks. So will he get dreadlocks? I don't know. It'd be really cool if he did. Comment down below which one you want to see him in, dreadlocks or curls. But you guys, all the products that I mentioned in today's video are going to be linked down below, along with the tutorials like I mentioned as well. And don't forget to go check out greatlocks.com to where you can find all your dreadlock needs or any hair needs that you have. Other than that, please make sure to go follow the Greatlocks Instagram page. It helps you to be featured on it if you tag us and follow us. And also you can be featured on the website or even the channel when we do dreadlock reviews or just any other review. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.